And just a few days ago, we had a 200-person party for New Year's. I want to guess there was over 200, maybe 250 people, and it was probably 80% girls. We made sure that there was at least 5 girls for every 1 guy ratio.
You are now tuning in to the Evolution Daily Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, another episode of the Evolution Daily Podcast. We have been on a hiatus for a little while, and, here's the deal. So you guys, I love you guys. I honest to God, I love you guys. I get a DM, I get an email, I get a YouTube comment, I get a Facebook message, I get something just about every single day saying, where's the podcast, bro? When are you bringing the podcast back? When's it coming? I missed the podcast. My life is in shambles. I need the podcast. And it really means a lot to me to get that sort of positive feedback because obviously, we can look and see that everybody's listening. That's cool. That's great to be able to just kind of see numbers on a screen. But when you guys actually kind of tell me how much you enjoy the show, it really means a lot. And I think it kind of helps to make the show better too, because it motivates me more. So what I'm going to do here is, first off, our first episode back, we've got Justin Marc. He is an awesome guy. The interview with him is coming up soon. He is a Toronto coach. He teaches day game, dating, a lot of social circle stuff. Awesome guy. And his interview is coming up here very shortly. However, we got to talk about some stuff. We got to talk about, first off, why did I do the hiatus? Why did I take the time off of the podcast? Will you be consistent again with the podcast? Is this always going to be video? I mean, what's going on here? So here's the deal. Basically, we did the podcast. There was about 120 episodes. If you don't know who I am, by the way, if you're new here, maybe you're somebody from Justin's audience, you can just fast forward to the interview with Justin. I'm going to be really talking to my hardcore audience, my guys who have been listening, following, watching for a long time. So you can just go ahead and jump ahead and make sure to tune into future episodes as well. But so for all you guys that, again, my hardcore dudes here, I did the podcast for about 120 episodes every single week. Never missed an episode. I love podcasting. I fucking love it. I listen to podcasts all day. I used to have a comedy podcast. I love recording podcasts. What started to happen was I started to feel myself not prioritizing the podcast. There was a lot of days where I would just have to rush. It would be on a Saturday, and I'd be like, "Hey, Alpha Chad, we got to bust out an episode. We got to hurry up and get this out." And the reason why was because I was so busy with so many other things in my life. Particularly, even really looking just at Evolution Daily as a business, doing so much of the back end business work, right? For every minute that you guys see of me doing content, there are hours of coaching happening behind the scenes. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful for all of you guys that are on my mentorship programs, whether that's short term, long term, all you guys that are doing the boot camp programs with me and all of that. But there's just so much, not just in coaching, but so much in general that goes on behind the scenes. And so I was really, really focused on becoming a better coach, for one, but then also really focus on a lot of the bigger strategies on how to really get my message out to the world, because my message is very powerful. I'm extremely passionate about what I teach here at Evolution Daily. I am teaching men how to be confident, how to have an incredible life, how to have an incredible future. And so much of that comes down to being with the women that you want to be with. I have seen throughout my entire life miserable marriages. I have seen miserable, lonely, old men who never were able to connect with women in the way that they wanted to. I have seen, and I don't even know which one of those is worse. I mean, I'd probably rather be a miserable, lonely old man than in a fucking horrific marriage. I've seen men that really wanted to have kids and they never were able to. It never worked out for them. And maybe right now you're one of those guys. So to me, there's really nothing that's more important really think about it. There's almost nothing more important in a man's life than who he ends up spending the rest of his life with. Imagine yourself on a vacation in the future. Imagine yourself in a sports car you've been saving up for. Imagine the house of your dreams right now. And now imagine the woman that you're with in that car, on that vacation, in that house. Is it going to be some unattractive woman that talks down to you, that talks shit to you, that's not in her feminine energy, that's totally wrapped up in her own fucking masculine, bullshit, degenerate mind? Or is it going to be a soft, beautiful, gorgeous fucking girl, a girl that you earned through hours and hours in the field, through hours and hours of going on dates, of having small relationships, long relationships, learning what you like, learning what you don't like, putting in the work, putting in the effort, becoming the strongest version of yourself. Now, who's that woman going to be in the car with you, in the house with you, holding your fucking child, on the vacation with you that you've worked so hard for? I mean, this is why, guys say to me sometimes, oh, there's more important things in life than just women, man. Like, you got to get your money up and like all this shit. Great, get your money up for sure. I mean, dude, like, yeah, make money, get fucking in great shape, dude. I'm not some, kind of just one point of view guy. I mean, I see the broad spectrum here, absolutely. However, I know guys that have their money up. I know guys that have a great body. I know guys that have it all together, but they fucking suck with women. And how could they get better with women? By going out, by putting in the work, by talking to tons and tons of them, by cold approaching, day game, night game, learning to overcome that tension, having your body overcome that tension over and over and over again, and being able to connect with these women, learning to connect with them, having more confidence around them, thus getting more results. Those results building more and more confidence, thus getting bigger and better and more results. It's plain as day. It's fucking simple. So that sums up, I would say, my message to the world. And that message in my teachings, so many of you are going to struggle to do that on your own. And that's why I am a coach, because I have done so much of it. I have researched it. I have studied it. I have a crazy perspective that very few men on this planet have. Because not only have I done it myself, but I've now also worked with tons of guys all around the world. And I've been able to see, so this works for me, but it's not going to work for him. So I see what he's doing here. And from the outside looking in, I can now see, because I couldn't see this with myself, but I can now see where he's going wrong. And mentally, he doesn't even realize that deep down, every fucking action that he takes is controlled by this self-defeating thought. Oh, you know what? I have 3 other students that have that same self-defeating thought subconsciously, that only now through coaching, I'm able to see and eviscerate. So I'm here to help. I'm here to help this process. And so I keep feeling like I'm getting started on my fucking Jesus. It's like a mustache hair going into my goddamn mouth. So I'm trying to get that message out to the world, man. And I love being a coach. And so I spent a lot of time really kind of getting things together for a big 2022. That's what I've been doing. And that's why I took the hiatus. I wasn't passionate about the content there for a little while, because I just was like, I just kind of felt, okay, if you're putting out all this content, but you don't have the infrastructure behind it, then what's the point? So it's kind of hard to understand unless maybe you are a content creator or you have your own business, but that's essentially the gist. And now, just in the same way that for 120 episodes, we were extremely consistent, we're going to be extremely consistent again. We will now be extremely consistent again. I needed to take the break. And also, big thing here is that every episode in the past was only audio. So if you're just now following, along, if you're new here, again, maybe you're part of Justin's audience or something, go back and listen. Get on Spotify. If you love this show, then get on Spotify, get on the Apple Podcast app, get on Google Podcasts and listen. We've got over 120 episodes, I believe, all audio only. But those videos are incredible. I mean, dude, if I had it my way, I really would do audio only. I don't know who the fuck, if you're watching this right now, you're a weirdo. All right. You're fucking weird for watching me. No, I'm playing. I get why the world likes video, but I mean, I've just never really sat there and listened to or watched a Joe Rogan episode or watched Tim Pool. Like, what are you watching? But hey, people want video. So people want video. So I'm here to deliver what the people want because, again, my message, I feel so strongly about my message that I'm willing to make some sacrifices, even if I don't agree with them, to help the message get out there more to the world. So guys, we've got a lot coming up, man. I've got a bunch of episodes ready to fucking go. Great episodes, man. We got Justin Marc coming up. And listen, guys, each and every week when you tune in to the Evolution Daily podcast, what I want you to do is I want you to comment down below. Comment on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening on any of the other apps, then I want you to come over to the YouTube channel, Evolution Daily Podcast YouTube channel, and comment and join the conversation. What I think would be really cool is if we kind of have every episode, we have a good message board down below. Because when it was audio only, we really couldn't do that. Guys would comment in the Facebook groups or personally hit me up and say, wow, this week Aaron said this on the podcast and I really thought but there was never really a good message board for each episode. So now by having this on YouTube, which truly is really I'd never really put that together, but that's kind of the number one reason why I'm deciding to commit to doing all video and having it on YouTube is to have this sort of message board functionality. So I want you guys to comment down below and tell me what you disagree with my guests with. Comment down below and just say that you're liking the episodes. Tell me you're hating the episodes. Request a guest. I mean, anything that you guys want to say, go ahead and just comment it down below. And of course, like the episode if you are if you are on YouTube, give it a like because it always helps to send it to more of the subscribers. So, guys, we're back. We're back, baby. It's back. We're doing it. I've been working on, getting everything kind of just a lot more professional, having this amazing backdrop that me and Alpha Chad created, kind of cool little studio here, new mic, new very professional microphone. You guys are going to be able to hear the difference actually in this interview coming up with Justin. You're going to be able to hear, I got off Zoom. I stopped using Zoom because no matter what you do, you can just tell it's a Zoom call. What you guys are about to listen to, it's a whole nother super upgraded, insane software where to me personally, it almost sounds like him and I are just in the room together. I think it's so good. The video is so crisp, so nice. So guys, we're back. We're doing this shit. New episode every single Sunday. We're going to have them dropping at 9 a.m. every Sunday. You know what? Comment down below and tell me if you think we should do Fridays. I'm willing to switch it up. The reason why I thought maybe we should do Fridays is because Friday is the beginning of the weekend, and it's like, you're getting ready for the night out. You're going to go fucking rage. You're going to go talk to tons of chicks. You're going on dates, and maybe this will pump you up for the weekend. So as of right now, we're sticking to Sundays at 9 a.m., but let me know if you guys think maybe we should do it on Fridays. That's it, guys. That's it. I mean, we're back. We're moving along. You guys fucking rock. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you guys sticking around here. I've got podcasts coming every single week. We're going to have just there's a lot happening right now, again, with setting up this infrastructure where I'm going to be disseminating so much valuable content to you this year. I'm so excited about it, man. If you're a guy right now and you're watching and you've been struggling and it just kind of feels like life has lost its meaning for you, I'm here to tell you that you have meaning. You have purpose. Women will love you. You have to start loving yourself. You have to start taking care of yourself. You have to start working really hard. You have to start talking to those voices in the back of your fucking head telling you every day, you're shit, you're shit, you're shit. You're not fucking shit. So shut those voices up turn on Aaron Alexander, turn on the Evolution Daily podcast, and enjoy this episode. First episode of 2022 featuring Justin Marc. Let's get it. Justin Marc, congratulations on being the first episode of the Aaron Alexander podcast in 2022. How's it feel?
I'm excited. Thanks for having me, my guy. It's super exciting to be on your show and, kind of try to share some value with your audience.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, I wasn't really collabing with too many pickup coaches in the past. I just, I don't know what it was. It was kind of just, I felt like I would listen to some other coaches kind of collab together. And I remember thinking it was just the same conversation over and over and over again. What do you think is like the number one thing guys struggle with? Well, I think it's like fear of the unknown, and it's just like the same bullshit. But I've always found you a very interesting guy for a lot of reasons. And so I really wanted to start kind of having some more coaches on, try to bring like a more unique sort of conversation to everything. So I wanted to start with you, man. And you're a dude who every time I pop over to your Instagram, you're just raging. You are nonstop you're throwing huge parties.
Yeah.
You always kind of seem to be in a host sort of position. It's not so much like, hey, I'm at this guy's party, this is lit. It's like, yo, we just threw this 200 girl fucking party on this rooftop. This is crazy. For you, where did you start with that kind of building that kind of clout, that ability to throw these ragers? How did that all start for you?
Well, Aaron, that's a great question because I was actually kind of reminiscing the other day, just thinking about this, because it's crazy how I've always seen soul skills and going out and creating parties as a way of self-development, Aaron. So think about this, right? When you're throwing parties, orchestrating events, you almost just naturally fall into being a leader position, right? Mm-hmm. And it's almost training your brain into being that leader. I remember back when I was fucking 18 years old, almost 10 years ago, right? Walking down the streets with girls I was just cold approaching, random girls are talking on the street and convincing them to come to the club I was going to. Then I convinced them to buy tickets for the club, right? And so it was like a direct sales job, but I was selling to cute girls that I meet on the street. Pretty nuts, right? And so what I found was a natural dynamic would just occur where I'm like leading this group of people. And at first it was like 5 girls, then it was like 10 people, then it'd be like 20 people. So I remember there was nights where I was just walking down the street with 20 people, bringing them all to the club. And it was this natural kind of like dynamic where it just kind of naturally became, I was the leader because I was the one orchestrating these events. So I wanted to get bigger and better and better and better and better. So over the years, we've done more and more parties, right? I was living in a mansion pretty much in Australia. So we're throwing parties there. A few years ago, I was living in this great condo with a beautiful rooftop that could fit hundreds of people. So we were doing parties on the rooftop in the summer. Now I'm living in this gorgeous penthouse. And just a few days ago, we had a 200-person party for New Year's. I want to guess there was over 200, maybe 250 people. And it was probably 80% girls. We made sure that there was a, at least 5 girls for every 1 guy ratio. And so we actually had security at the door because there was random guys trying to come in. We told them to go fuck themselves and get out. Who are you? Get the fuck out of my house, right? So I actually hired security, hired a bartender. I hired the DJ for the Toronto Raptors to DJ the event. We had sponsors handing out free goodies, I guess you could say. So I had a weed company handing out free weed. We had a drinks company handing out free drinks. It was a lot of fucking fun. And so, in the end of the night, one of my students is actually staying with me. In the end of the night, he had hooked up with 3 girls, right? Whereas 6 months ago, he was a fucking virgin, right? But it's amazing because I felt like I was the Great Gatsby. Right? I come out to the living room. Half the girls are friends of their friends who were invited, so they don't know who the fuck I am. And it's like I'm in a nightclub, but the nightclub is my fucking living room, right? And then my room is just over there, right? The best part, I have a lock on my room, so I have like a little secret entrance. I have to go around the balcony, around like a corner to bring us my room. So I ended up hooking up with 4 or 5 girls that night. It was actually pretty nuts, right? So we're in like full-on like man slut mode while we're having this crazy party, orchestrating this amazing event, hanging out with VIPs. All the girls there are like Instagram models with hundreds of thousands of followers. There's girls who are like YouTubers. It's really cool fucking event, right? And the best part is no drugs, no drinking, staying sober, and having like a sound mind and body, so that way the next day you're actually feeling pretty much good to go again, right? And
Yeah.
so what I found is really cool about orchestrating events is not only does that train your game to be top tier, pretty much God mode, but it also trains you to kind of naturally fill the role of, I guess you could say, I hate using the term like alpha male, but really just being that guy who's in control of the situation. Because if you're not, shit's gonna hit the fan, people are gonna be breaking your shit, things are gonna get stolen, broken. But instead, we had this amazing fucking event that people are gonna remember forever.
Now, at the point in which you started doing what sounds to be in the past club promotion, sounds like you had tickets for these events, you're doing that. At that point, how long had you been just doing like straight up cold approach?
So I was doing cold approach for about a year, and I found it was like very autonomous, just beating my head against the wall, not getting results. I don't know about you, but for my first 3 years of doing game, I felt like I had to unlearn so much shit. Dude, look at me. I'm a 5'4", 115-pound Indian, right? When I started game, I was like 90 pounds. I was like fresh out of high school. I was super awkward. And like looking back, it was really cringe. You know what I mean? It was super cringe. And so I had to unlearn a lot of, I guess you could say, unconscious behavior that just didn't really make sense, right? And so I had to spend 3 years on learning. So my first 3 years doing game, I probably only hooked up with a dozen girls, right? And that wasn't a lot. That wasn't the best results. And so I kind of had to subsidize my results by getting social results, right? Because if I wasn't getting a lot of intimacy, if I wasn't getting laid a lot, if I was only getting laid like once a month or whatever, right? Well, I at least wanted to see cool social results. So that means going to clubs, getting cool access to places, making out lots of girls, doing cool stuff, doing cool events. And so what I did is I figured, instead of just doing cold approach, instead of just being the pickup guy like every other fucking guy is doing, and just going on to be this like weird fucking robotic pickup guy, I wanted to build soul circles, friendships, business skills, networking. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to become this cool, popular guy. I wanted to have guy friends who are high level. I wanted to be around the hottest fucking girls. And I wanted to create this cool lifestyle. So I figured the most logical way of doing that was doing nightlife stuff, throwing parties. And the only reason I was doing club promoting was because I wanted to go to nightclubs, but I didn't even have the money. I was so broke to even pay for the club cover. So I kind of started club promoting almost as a job. So I would get in the club for free because at that point I'm staffed. I'm not going to be expected to pay for the club cover, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, bro, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are listening to this right now, and one of the things that I admire about you is you based on your lifestyle, based on the way you communicate, even with me on this show and the podcast that we did a little while ago, you have a very open outward energy. You're very like I could just see you being in a room of 200 people and like everyone knows you and you're kind of you're socializing in that way. There's a lot of guys out there where they're so enclosed, they're so closed off, right? They don't have this charisma, they don't have this outward sort of energy. Do you think that you were ever at a point where you were the shy guy in a large room of people, the guy that someone would meet you and say, wow, Justin, that Justin guy seems like pretty closed off? And if so, is there anything that you would recommend to guys when it comes to just like breaking out in that way?
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people see this energy, they see this charisma, and they think it was natural. They think I was always like this. They're absolutely wrong, right? The reason I actually got into game and pickup and all this world of new experiences was because I have social anxiety. I still have social anxiety. The craziest thing is back in the day when I'd be in a room of people, I was the one not talking to anyone. I'd be on my phone. I was shy. I would have almost anxiety attacks. I couldn't even look at people. In fact, it was so bad where let's say I was in a social event and there's people who I've talked to or even invited me. I would be too scared to talk to the people who I was even friends with. The people I talked to on Facebook every night. I was too scared to talk to them in person, so I'd have to talk to them online and like on Facebook and on social media. It was a very weird dynamic where I just struggled to communicate at all whatsoever. So the fact that I do what I do now is a goddamn fucking miracle. So in a moment, I'm going to give you guys advice on how you can go from being that guy to being that guy, right? And so a lot of guys have social anxiety and they think you can't overcome it. They think it's not something you can kind of fix or overcome. But if I did that, believe me when I say you can do it for sure. You know, I would say even over the past year when we had this whole coronavirus pandemic, being locked inside for hours on end each day, when things started opening up, I had realized I kind of almost redeveloped social anxiety. When there was beautiful girls on the street, I was struggling to cold approach them. I had redeveloped approach anxiety and social anxiety. And when there was hot girls out and about, I was struggling to even be able to walk up to them, talk to them, have a conversation with them, flirt with them, hit on them, etc. And it's crazy to even think that I regress in that way of rehabbing social anxiety. But what I realize is no one is above this process. And so you kind of have to follow the process of overcoming these anxieties, which means going out every single day to practice cold approach, no matter what skill level you're at, no matter if you're great or if you're just starting out. You need to go out every single day to practice cold approach pickup. And I've honestly done that for the last almost 10 years, even during COVID. I was finding ways to practice my social skills as much as I could every single fucking day. Okay. And if you don't, even me, we regress. We're going to regress back into being shy and back into having anxiety. And so going out every single day and practicing cold approach, practicing talking to strangers, not even just hitting on girls, just practicing talking to random people, practicing talking to strangers, practicing talking to random girls on the street, in the mall, in the park, at the bar, at the club, wherever you go. So that's probably the number one way you can overcome those anxieties, because I mean, if you look at me and you see me loud and charismatic, this is not natural. This is not how I normally am. This is because I've gone out almost every single day for a fucking decade to practice stuff, teach you stuff, and just do it over and over and over and over, tens of thousands of times. I don't know, maybe even hundreds of thousands of times, right? I don't even know how many cold approaches I've done at this point. It's in the tens of thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands, right? And so the whole point is because I've done it so many fucking times, I can go out, cold approach all these girls, throw parties when there's a big event or a big holiday or whatever, like Christmas, New Year's, whatever it is, right? Tell all these pretty girls to come to my house, and then it's kind of like my house is a club, and I can just pull girls straight to my room, right? And so because I built those skills, yeah, I can do that, but you need to build those skills as well. You know, you guys in the audience need to build those skills just by doing it. And if you're having this, you know, shyness and this anxiety, realize I came from a place just in the same place you're at right now, if not worse, guaranteed. I used to have panic attacks. I used to have fucking panic attacks from girls looking at me. I would go home and psychoanalyze it for 3-4 hours. Just like a 1-minute conversation, I would like go home and think about it for hours and hours and hours, right? So if I can go from that to being this, right, you can achieve anything beyond your dreams.
You have like 4 journal pages of all about like this 1-2 minute interaction you had with this girl.
Yeah.
What could I have done differently?
I used to do things like that.
Yeah, no, that's wild. Yeah, man, I think a lot of guys need they need a real breakout moment as well, which I see as being so much of a benefit of the coaching that you and I do with clients. They need so many guys, the guys that I referred to, where they would see this kind of energy in these parties, and they would think, I could never fucking do that. Like, I could not do that. They need this breakout moment where they go into a nightclub and they're spam approaching, they're screaming, they're going crazy. You know, I won't even say publicly what it was, but on my last boot camp in Miami, I had this guy that I really needed to get out of his head. So I had him go up to these 2 girls and say something just absolutely atrocious to these women, because he was so, and it wasn't that offensive to the women, but it was crazy. And to get him to do that was so difficult. And then when I finally did it, dude, he was just on fire. He was just like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I just said that to these girls. I mean, it was insane. So a lot of guys need this. They need this breakout moment. Now with you, I know we talked about this a little bit on your show, but I always find this so interesting. Guys who choose to either be totally sober, guys who are drinking every time that they're doing pickup, you know, this kind of thing. Were you ever like a serious drinker? Like at any point during these club days, during anything? Because right now, you're sober, correct?
4 years.
Okay, and so were you raging? Were you like fucking 6 a.m. still doing shots, just going crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, how hard was it for you to sober up?
So I think I started drinking in, try to remember the timeline. It's probably like, I want to say it was like 2011. So from like 2011 until like 2017, it was really difficult to just kick drinking. And yeah, no, dude, it was out of control. I remember the first time I ever went out, when I first started game and I first got into going out, parties, etc. The first party I ever went to, blackout drunk. And this is how I knew I wanted to get in the game, because I went from being this like crippling anxiety, shy as fuck little boy, like super shy, right? I wouldn't talk to anybody, get invited to this party. Next thing you know, I'm blackout drunk and I'm talking to everybody. But everything it didn't really make sense what I was saying. I was just walking up to everyone saying, "Hi, I love you. You're my best friend." Like, just like walking up to everyone, just like sharing, like this cute little kid fucking just sharing, right? It was really cool. And that, but like, I just got out of control and just got really fucked up. And yeah, there was definitely times, even when I quit drinking, where it was a problem, man. It was like, I would say 80% of the time it was cool because I'm not getting too drunk, but 20% of the time getting fucked up and out of control, just out of fucking control, right? And you know, it was crazy. It was like, it was a problem for sure, because especially working in the nightlife industry, can you imagine how much free drinks we're getting every night? We're getting free booze everywhere we go, free bottle service. If you look at my Instagram stories, if any of your audience, go to my Instagram right now. Go to follow me on Instagram, Drunk Justin 2. That's my Instagram. The reason I call myself a Drunk Justin, I was a fucking alcoholic. But Drunk Justin 2 is my new Instagram, okay? And you watch my Instagram stories, any night of the week, we're pretty much partying. And any weekend, we're at table service, bottle service, best clubs in the city, best clubs in Toronto. If not, I'm traveling, and I'm finding friends with that kind of access at any club I go to in the world, or any city I go to in the world, pretty much. And we always have, like, alcohol, right? Usually given to us by the club, by the management for free. And it's so easy to fall into getting fucked up and getting drunk and getting, you know, intoxicated every single night. And so, it does take a lot of discipline and willpower to host these events and not drink, right? When I've got, you know, I have a full-on bar. So right now we're in my penthouse, right? But just behind this, you know, big white screen, I have a full-on bar, fully stocked, right? And we have like thousands of dollars of alcohol. That takes a lot of skill, a lot of mental discipline to not drink. But just know that if you don't, you know, there's going to be a lot more long-term benefit, including health, including your mindset, including the things you learn, and including the results you get as well.
Yeah, for me, I found, because I did almost 5 years at one point, and then I started drinking again. I don't even know, at this point, about a year and a half ago, and I'm now off the booze again, because I realized that for me, I don't even think that long term with it. I'm not even that worried about, like, you know, one day, you know, you're going to age poorly or this and that. For me, I get addicted to my mental clarity. I love mental clarity, dude. I love focus. I love not having anxiety. I love having high energy. And so for that brief little period where you attempt to stop drinking, it's so hard because it takes a while for all that to start firing again. So that's the hardest part. It's 8 p.m. You're about to go on a date with some chick. Fucking God, why am I not just going to drink with this girl? It's going to be so fun if we just get drunk, whatever. But then once you reach sort of, you break that escape velocity, then you start having this mental clarity that you've never had, even if you're just a casual drinker, where, like you said, you're at this party or it's 3 a.m. and you're still in the club and you're just like locked in. You're in the zone and you're starting to be able to be in that place where instead of being the drunk, sloppy guy that maybe you've been before or that you see all around you, now you're actually the dude that's able to orchestrate, this Uber for these two so they can come over afterwards. And now these two, and now, you know, while everyone's trying to get street meat, you're like, get the fuck over here. Come on. And you're able to really lead the whole situation. Yep. So I would say to so many of you guys out there, like, bro, I'm not going to sit here and preach to never drink for the rest of your life, but I guarantee there's so many of you out there where since age 18, there hasn't been a solid 2 weeks without you drinking. Go a couple months. Just tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do a couple of months without drinking, and I'm going to see where that takes me. Do you, Justin, feel as though you'll ever drink again? Do you see that in your future?
It's hard to say, man. You know what's crazy? I actually still miss drinking. I still miss alcohol. And that's why I don't drink. Because the fact that I miss it, even though I haven't touched it in almost 4 years, that's a problem. I think that's a bit of a problem. And honestly, I don't really see a benefit in it. I feel like it really dumbs you down and makes people slow and sloppy. And here's the crazy thing. Now that I'm sober and I have that mental clarity, when I see other people who are drunk, I fucking hate that energy around me. And then it makes me think, oh shit, that was me. That was me a few years ago. And so I don't want to be that guy. When you see annoying guys who are just drunk and sloppy and annoying, like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want other people to perceive me that way, right? And I have a really solid reputation, especially in the nightlife industry. Here in Toronto, it's super cliquey. Toronto's like LA. You get a lot of these, rich sugar daddy type dudes, club owners, business owners, etc. And you got a lot of these like sugar babies, models, Instagram influencer type chicks who all kind of roll together, right? And so it's very cliquey. And I've got a really good reputation kind of in this scene. And so I don't want to fucking ruin that or burn relationships just by getting too fucking drunk or by being sloppy and being drunk, right? And so, yeah, definitely throwing parties without alcohol, it's a double whammy because you get to kind of really improve your soul skills, improve your charisma, and meet hot girls, but then you keep your health, you keep your mental clarity, and you train yourself to be a complete savage in all social situation scenarios, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I found too that for me when I quit drinking, really both times now, is that I have to replace it with something. And for me, what I always end up replacing it with is just hardcore cold approach again. That's straight up what it is because I think a lot of people can relate to this, but for me, being around booze is no problem. Dude, you could be sitting here with me right now and you're like taking shots and like, what? Like, I don't care. For me, it's boredom. It's like, dude, if it's 7:30 p.m., I'm not going to go to bed till like 1. I don't really want to go like hang out with people, but it's like, I could just go get a fucking 12-pack of some beer. So boredom for me is a major trigger. So then when I fill my life again with, I'm going out to bars all the time, sober, I'm doing day game, I'm lining up dates, I'm just blowing up these girls to go on fucking dates and just hanging out with my friends and staying sober, usually with pickup guys, wings and shit. It's such a good replacement for that addiction. And so again, for so many guys listening, they've got two problems. They're drinking too much and they don't have fucking chicks. So replace the booze with going out. And one other thing I really got to add on to this is alcohol becomes so addicting because it's the quickest fix for anxiety. It really is, dude. Sure. If you were going to some meeting right now or some event or whatever and you're shaking nervous, like, oh my God, this is a huge deal. Dude, 3 shots and a beer, you're golden. You fucking run in there and own that bitch. But I've never had worse anxiety than like hangover anxiety. For sure. It is brutal where you're just so hungover and like you see your neighbor or something. It's like, it's so bad. So it's such an illusion. It's crazy, man. I wanted to ask you about something else that I think you'd probably have some good insights to. So at one point, I remember, this is before I think we'd ever really communicated, and I thought about this going into this podcast today. I was like, I want to have some good solid questions for Justin here. And I remember at one point that you were engaged to be married. Right?
So I was in a long-term, I was in a long-term relationship, and this is actually a huge reason I quit drinking. This is probably the biggest reason I quit drinking. I would get like in horrible fights with girlfriends in the past when we were drinking. Like, I remember I had a girlfriend in Australia who we would drink together, and our entire relationship was just drunk in love, right? And then my ex-girlfriend who I was engaged to, it's our entire relationship was built around alcohol. Like, every time we'd hung out, we were drinking. And so, there was definitely one night where I pretty much asked her to marry me, and she's like, yeah. And I literally had moved to Mexico to live with her and her family. And we started traveling Europe together. We were together for well over a year, almost 2 years, I think. And then, we were definitely, we didn't start planning the wedding. We kind of pushed it off because when we stopped drinking, we had realized, because we both realized drinking was a problem. We both stopped drinking. And when we both stopped drinking, we kind of realized, I don't know if we're that compatible. Let's just try to stay with each other for like another year without alcohol. Yeah. And eventually we kind of both came into the decision that, like, you know what, let's go our own separate ways. And so, I was engaged. It almost felt like I was married. She was part of the business. She was on payroll. We're traveling together. She's living with me. She's traveling with me. I was living with her family in Mexico. She's hanging with my family in Canada. We're traveling to Europe. We're traveling to South America. So yeah, it was a pretty fucking intense relationship, man. And at the end of it, I was, you know what? This isn't for me. And so, yeah, it was one of the toughest decisions I ever had to make in my life. Like, because even to this day, that person is what I would consider like the love of my life, right? And it's cool because we would have threesomes, we'd pull girls together. I taught her game every day for the course of like 6 months. So we would go out and pull girls together consistently. It was fucking awesome. And she would help me on my boot camps. She'd coach my students for me. She'd help me with marketing in the business. She'd help me with club promo. It was a lot of fucking fun. But at the end of the day, I kind of just decided, I'm like, you know what? This isn't the life I want to live. And I feel like I'm capable of a lot more outside this relationship. And to be honest, even to this day, it was one of, because this is, I broke up there like 3 years ago. We ended like 3 years ago. And again, to this day, it was one of the hardest decisions I ever made in my life for both of us.
Yeah, yeah. Now, because I've done things not to the degree of proposing, but I've done things drunk where the next day I regret it immediately, like kind of like not permanent things, but like I've bought on girls like plane tickets before, where I'm just like, some girl that I smashed like down in Texas. We drunk text, we FaceTime, whatever, and then I'm wasted and I'm fucking buying her a plane ticket to come up here. And then next day I'm like, dude, what? This is a 4-day trip. Like, I don't even know this girl. I'm going to have, like all this shit. Do you feel like even right after, so you stuck it through, clearly you loved this girl, but even right after, were you kind of thinking to yourself like, fuck, what have I done? Why did I do that?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely, so the drinking was the issue. The drinking, like at the end of the day, it was the issue, right? And so through not drinking, I have full mental clarity. And so the longer you're off drinking, the easier it is to get back to, I guess you could say, heightened emotional stability. And so,
Yes,
not drinking is like really
so
powerful.
much. Yeah.
Like not drinking just like makes everything very fucking clear. So yeah, it is so easy to like propose to your girlfriend while you're drunk and she says yes. And then we're like, okay, cool, let's get married. And then we talk about it. We're like, cool, like this December, let's do it. Let's get married this December, right? But yeah, it's actually fucking crazy when I think about it because, just years of not drinking, now you can make the right decisions. Now, if you ask, if you just know, you just can trust your gut. You can trust your instincts. You can trust who you are as a man to make the right decision for you every single day.
Yeah. The what you said about the emotional stability when you're sober, I think is profound. How old are you right now?
26.
Okay, so at this point in your life, then, so that was, oh wow, so you were young when you were in that. That's young. I mean, when I was like 21, 22, I was a complete fucking retard. I mean, that's young. So now at this phase in your life and moving forward, do you see yourself actually ending up in that sort of a lifestyle? Married, children, do you see yourself in that?
It's hard to say, right? Because, as a man, as you get older, your hormones change, right? So I have a lot of friends who are much older than I, 30s, 40s. They always said, oh, never getting married, never having kids. And then lo and behold, shit, you have kids, you're married, right? But me personally, and like outside of like just want to party and fuck girls, I have like moral, I guess you could say, objections of not wanting to have kids. But I don't think I ever see myself getting married or having kids, man. That's the honest truth. Now, having a long-term girlfriend where we have like a symbolic marriage, maybe, right? Having a relationship where we have a more intensive relationship dynamic where it's almost as if we're married, but we're just dating, maybe. I don't really see myself really ever having children, though, right? And I don't really see myself signing a document that says, oh, I'm married, so now some woman can steal half my assets, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean by the moral objection to having children? Because I've heard people with similar takes, so I would like to hear yours.
So when it comes to things like overpopulation, when it comes down to things like also like just the economic cost of having children, right? I rather invest in myself, my future assets, investments, than just have a fucking kid, right? Freedom. I feel like having kids ages you, and I just don't think having kids is good for the planet. And then also, I just don't think having kids in general is something I really see myself doing, right? And so, yeah, I don't really see myself having kids ever.
Yeah.
You know, maybe have a dog I travel with and have like a cute girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all go through we all go through many phases of life with what we desire, with what we want, and it'll be interesting to hear your take on that when you're, say 30, 35. I think a lot of men end up reaching a point where they feel that this deeply rooted primal need to replicate their genes, and they start, you and I we're coaches and we're creators, so we're kind of sharing our wisdoms with the world, which is great. But I think you end up craving a little genetic copy of yourself to pass down this wisdom to, and you start sort of having I've talked to a lot of guys, and I do feel this as well, where you start kind of thinking, all right, everything I'm building, like, where does it all go when I die? Like, it really, like, okay, charity, whatever, I don't know, like a family member, maybe my brother's kid, something like that. But I think you end up wanting to create a legacy when you by having a child. And I think a lot of guys end up, and again, I mean, you and I both, I mean, I'm only 31, like, we both got plenty of fucking time, but I think I've seen a lot of dudes reach their 50s, their 40s even, without children. And every once in a while you got somebody where it's like, oh, look at that dude living that pimp kind of lifestyle. Oh, that seems cool. But I think for the most part, most men will end up feeling very empty in their later years without children.
It's possible.
Yeah. I think it's something that everybody needs to sort of consider. And that's where it does get tricky for me too, where, I'm 31 and I'm absolutely in no rush, but I am now in this phase where when I meet certain girls that I'm currently seeing or whatever, where I'm like, okay, yeah, this girl isn't like some little freak hoe that I would love to have right now, where it's like maybe we can even start a fucking OnlyFans together. We can be like getting some other chicks to fuck. It's like all that, right? She's not that, but this girl would be like a phenomenal mother. And you start kind of like feeling that primal attraction to those sort of traits. It's very interesting. But then
Dude, I've been there, man.
But then I've had that phase too, and then I've like broken up with that girl. Now I'm back to just like hoes. Let's go. Like, I just want to be out at the club every night. It's fun stuff, bro. So with all this partying, all this, I mean, obviously you're not drinking, that's good, but you're gonna be up all the time. Crazy hours. I'm sure even sober, you're up to like fucking 7 a.m. sometimes. Who knows?
All the time.
Is your sleep wrecked? And if so, like, do you have so many days of just feeling like, fuck, I've only slept 1 hour in the last 3 days? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Is your sleep wrecked?
Sure.
And is there shit you do to kind of counteract that?
Yeah, so you know what's crazy is like my sleep cycle half the year is just completely fucking bananas. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'll go to bed at 8 in the morning almost every night. It's almost defaulted that that's the time I go to sleep. And then wake up at like 3, 4, 5, 6 p.m. Wake up, go to the gym, eat food, and go to the club. Go straight to the club, right? And so that was my schedule regularly for years. Right now, it's actually pretty good. I wake up pretty early for the most part, I'd say. We've kind of fixed it, right? But for a long fucking time, and most days, I'd say more often than not, my sleep schedule is pretty fucked up. It's pretty bad. And for the most part, it is what it is at that point. So what I do, like, to get work done and just to get shit done is like I kind of just work in the middle of the night. Like, when I'm back home after the club, I kind of just do all my work after like the girls leave. Right, the girls leave at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Then cool, I'm just working from like 5 a.m. to like 9 a.m. Right, or when I wake up, or like when I'm on the go, just on my phone. So yeah, it's a pretty insane schedule, and we make it work for sure.
Yeah. I've had years of a similar schedule where it is just, if you're going out any more than 3 to 4 nights a week, then it ends up suiting your lifestyle to be on that more nocturnal schedule. So I've had long periods of time where I'm out at least 5 nights a week, and I just consistently have a 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sleeping schedule. And you end up just kind of adapting to that. But it does feel like shit. I fucking hate when I end up in that.
It sucks. It's annoying.
It's such a hard part of our existence. It actually really is. Because then when I go through periods where maybe I'm not as night game focused and I really am getting to bed at like 11 and waking up at 7 in the morning, dude, I feel so good. And I'm like, man, is it time just to throw in the towel, just become a day game coach only? Like only do day game from now on, dude? Fuck going out to the clubs. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. What are some, you seem like a pretty healthy guy. You seem, I see you go to the gym, here and there. You're not like a gym rat, I don't think, but it seems like you work out and stuff. Is there anything for you that is sort of a non-negotiable mental health habit, routine, anything like that, where it's just like, I've got to be doing these things to be feeling good, and if I don't, I'm fucked?
All right, so I'm gonna drop some like actual secrets on you guys. I've been plant-based, borderline vegan for the last 3 years. And it's not that I even like to. Do you know how much I miss eating steak and chicken and stuff like that? But it is so good for mental clarity. I haven't gotten food poisoning in 3 years now because, most food poisoning comes from, uncooked meat, right? And so I kind of started eating fish again. But there was a solid period of time I was just purely vegan. And I was feeling fucking amazing, feeling incredible. And I still feel great all the time. But with mental health, there's a few things I do that I've been doing for the past year, which has had profound success. Microdosing mushrooms and microdosing LSD. As crazy as that sounds, microdosing mushrooms and microdosing LSD, fucking insane. Anytime I'm low energy, a little espresso, it's pretty cool. What I actually just started doing recently is taking caffeine pills instead of coffee. And it's very similar. So my daily kind of like kick in a gear habit, and this works really well for day game, by the way. Microdose LSD, microdose mushroom, take your daily supplements. So I'm talking about green powder, vitamin C, vitamin D, ashwagandha, ginseng, bunch of other like healthy herb supplements. Like I take like 30 different pills a day, right? They're like all natural herb supplements, good for your health, good for your immune system, good for your body. And then, microdosing LSD and mushrooms, and then coffee. You can go out and crush day game every single fucking day. It's fucking amazing. Wow. It's actually crazy to see. Yeah.
Wow. So the microdosing shrooms, I've lost my mind on shrooms and acid several times, but I never really microdosed them. I'm a huge proponent. I have a student right now I'm working with who I ended up telling him, I'm like, and he's going to see this. I love this guy. But I said, you just are blind to what's behind the veil. Like you're behind the curtain. Like you need, and I've actually set him up with a guy who I know who's a shaman, and he's actually going to go have I think like an ayahuasca experience.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, I just was like, dude, you don't understand reality. Like, you fucking need to understand reality. You're so disconnected from what's truly going on here. Yeah. So I'm a big proponent. Now, when you do that, are you doing like capsule form, and how much? Like less than a gram, even probably, huh?
So in Canada, it's actually decriminalized, and so I just buy them online from like an online mushroom pharmacy. They ship it to my door in little pill form. So yeah, it's in a little capsule. And it's 100 milligrams of psilocybin mushrooms. And I usually take it 3-4 days a week. And then the LSD microdose is the same thing. It's so a typical LSD trip is like 100 to 150, IU of LSD. I'm taking 7 per day. And I usually do that like 3 days a week. And so you don't really feel it. You feel perfectly sober. Like you can drive. You're fully functioning. You're normal. You're not like on drugs. You're not hallucinating at all whatsoever. But mental health wise, you are perfect. You're fucking in the zone. You're feeling fucking great, and you just feel great.
Yeah. Now, my question to you is how much of this are you using to kind of how deep into the mind do you go when you're even just microdosing? Like So I've had trips where, and I'm sure you've done actually full doses of these things, so you know how deeply introspective
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
get when you're on psychedelics. The way that you're able to actually like even have some really difficult experiences and process some real shit, but you come out of it just like, dude, I've come out of trips just like
Yeah, of
floating for like
course.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Like, oh my God.
yeah.
So do you find that is it kind of even helping on that level as well, doing the microdoses?
So microdosing, you don't get high. You are fully functioning sober. You're not fucking high. You can take this shit to work. Like dude, I microdose to work. I'll microdose before doing a fucking podcast. I will microdose before a party. I will microdose before going to see my fucking parents. Seriously, you're not high. You are 100% sober. It's crazy how like it just subtly affects your mood. It's more of like an antidepressant mood enhancer rather than you're getting high. You're not getting fucking high at all whatsoever.
I totally get that because I would assume then it's a very similar to feeling to that just that beginning of the come up and also the come down of shrooms or acid where you're not technically really on them fully, but you're still just having great thoughts, great mental clarity, just an incredible experience.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just feel. The best way I describe it is if you ever feel like depressed or off edge or off center, this shit brings you back to normal. It just brings you back to feeling normal, feeling how you should be feeling.
And what I love about this, or what I think is so important, and my audience knows this, I talk about this so fucking much, but dude, like you think you just are something. You think you just are anxious. I am shy. I am paranoid. I am tired all the time. These things are just, and you identify. And dude, you have like people just don't put in the research. They don't put in the work to discover like, bro, you might just be able to take some like L-theanine, 500 milligrams of magnesium every day, and some ashwagandha, like you said, and all of a sudden you're a brand new person. You might be able to microdose shrooms once a week, and all of a sudden become a new person. It's unfortunately the modern world that we live in, with our mothers being exposed to chemicals, their mothers, us being exposed to plastics, all these things, bro. Like not half your time, but you have to actually allot some of your time to just trying to return back to what you were supposed to be before all of this crazy environmental exposure. It's crazy. Are you in any of that shit, man?
I find there's so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've been so one of my favorite books. It's a book it's called The Ultramind Solution by Dr. Marc Hyman. Talks about how you can literally cure mental illnesses from clean eating. So I was struggling. The biggest thing I ever struggled with was social anxiety and depression. Those two. So anxiety, social anxiety, depression, ADHD, all these different fucking anxiety disorders, and being able to like pretty much almost, I don't want to say cure them, but manage them from my diet, my nutrition, the food I'm eating, and what I'm putting into my body and the environments I'm surrounding myself in. It's crazy, right? Like hitting the sauna, sweating it out, cold showers, plant-based diets, or even before I did the plant-based diet, I was doing very clean diets with just like chicken, eggs, kale salad, spinach, and like just like super fucking clean, just clean eating, no sugar, no processed sugar, right? And so those diets were really fucking powerful with keeping like pure mental clarity and amazing mental health.
So do you think that possibly, so you said, you're an Indian guy. Were your parents from India?
Yeah.
Okay, so straight up. So your parents from India. Now I would assume, because I know most Indians are vegan, that you probably come from generations of vegans.
So I can only imagine maybe like way up the line, but my parents were actually big meat eaters. So me being like plant-based for the past 3 years was fucking weird. Like anytime I go visit them, I don't see them too often. But whenever I do, it's kind of weird. It's like, oh, hey mom, what's up, dad? Like they're eating meat. I'm like, I have to Uber Eats myself fucking dinner because there's nothing for me to eat. And so, it's a bit of a challenge, but it's manageable.
Well, and I was just thinking. So I mean, I guess since your parents are meat eaters, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But if you think about it, if you really came from generations of people that did not consume meat, and now you decide to do it because you're living in this Western world, then your body probably did have a hard time with it. Because maybe your grandparents are above them.
I would definitely say so. Yeah.
So when you cut out
I stopped eating meat.
Yeah.
I stopped eating meat after a shroom trip in 2018. So I literally stopped eating meat after I had it's great. I wasn't even taking that much shrooms. I think it was like 2 grams, 2.5 grams, right? And I had this like very intensive almost like schizophrenic experience where I was like talking to Mother Nature or some shit, right? Some like woo-woo fucking mushroom trip, right?
Yeah.
And I was having this like most like this is the most like spiritual experience of my life. I don't think I've ever even had anything remotely close to this. And the kind of like realization I had was if I stop eating meat, I'm gonna have more mental clarity. I'm gonna feel better. I'm gonna get sick less, and then I'll have more time to put into having better relationships with women, meeting more beautiful women, and crushing business.
I love it. I love it. Dude, that's like the philosophy that I'm the most obsessed with is the philosophy of the race car. Of just what can I fucking cut off of this car that's keeping me from being as aerodynamic as possible. And dude, I have to do a self reevaluation at least once a month, sometimes once a week, where I'm like, dude, what have you been doing this week that you're fucking up? You're waking up, you're getting on Instagram right away, you're laying in bed too long, you're sitting in there taking this fucking 20-minute hot shower instead of popping in and out of the freezing cold. Guys need to do this. You need to have at least a once a month evaluation where you're looking at yourself and going, what are these habits that I just do on autopilot day in and day out? And so for you, a big one was you're eating too much meat. And now were you able to, because look, here's the thing is if like meat is not negatively affecting me and it doesn't affect a lot of people, but it does probably affect a lot of people. How did you know that was something that was negatively affecting you?
Well, imagine this, right? I moved to Mexico to be with this girlfriend, traveling around the world, going to a lot of like third world countries. Every time I eat meat, I'll get food poisoning. I was in Lithuania. I think it was like, I'm not sure what it was. I think it was like eggs or something. I was sick in bed for 2 weeks, just like shitting myself. Thought I was going to fucking die. Lost like 15 pounds. And that actually affected my mental health because your mental health is directly correlated with your physical health. A lot of people don't know that. And so because I was physically ill, my mental health was horrible and I couldn't function, couldn't run my business, couldn't really do anything. And so when I cut out meat, I found that I never get food poisoning versus having food poisoning like, 20 times a year, like every other week. It's fucked up, right? Versus never having food poisoning. Now I'm just like always healthy and I'm always in the best mental health.
Awesome. That's phenomenal, man. We're going to wrap up here in a few minutes, but let's kind of close out on some quick game talk. So you've got a course coming out soon. It's called Day Game Mastery, correct?
Yeah.
And you kind of already gave us a little bit of insights into the way that you used to actually use day game as a lead source to then actually build the social circle, which that's something that, I'm sure I'll have you on the show again, but that was something that me and all my friends did for about a year where it was the same thing. We used game as the lead source for having ragers at our house and similar experiences. I had my first ever threesome. I had my first time ever where I banged 3 different chicks in one day, all like from these parties. And again, same as you, totally sober through all of it. So using Cold Approach is such an incredible lead source. If right now, the rest of your life, you could never talk to a girl in a club again, or you could never talk to a girl during the day again, which one would you choose?
Oh, shit. It's hard to say, man. They're both so unique. I don't know if I'd even pick. I love night game and I love club game, but I create day game mastery because day game is just such a powerful thing for any guy. Like for where I'm at right now, because I'm the club social status, because I've done many, many, many years of night game, I find night game is like instant. I can pull any night out. Any fucking put me in any club in the fucking world, I can fucking pull pretty much any night out. It's pretty nuts. But for the average guy, day game is just so powerful because you can go from being a fucking nobody, having nothing, having no girls, to instantly getting incredible results. And that's why I created the Day Game Mastery course, right? It's daygamemastery.org. Okay, this is such a powerful fucking program. I'll be honest, if I had to give up one, I would have to give up the clubs, the nightclubs, because day game, again, is just so fucking powerful. I can walk down the street right fucking now. I can go leave the house. We're on lockdown right now. Today, actually, we just gone right back into lockdown here in Canada because the Omicron fucking bullshit, right? And it's funny because, I know even right now, during coronavirus lockdowns, during whatever restrictions we have, during cold winter tundra here in Canada, I can throw on my jacket, walk down the fucking street, and I can talk to beautiful women and I can pull them home. right? And that's the beauty of day game, right? And I put all this material, the know-how, the knowledge, the skills, learning how to overcome these anxieties. I have a full module of over 10 videos on different strategies you can use and execute to overcome your approach anxiety, social anxiety, so it never becomes an issue again. And so that's in day game mastery. But some of the content we have in day game mastery is fucking crazy. I have documented lay report video breakdowns. I have documented audio pulls of essentially I'm recording the audio as I'm pulling the girls, so you can see every step of everything I'm doing from leaving the club to getting to the bedroom. It's fucking nuts, right? And you know what's crazy? I had probably over 50 audios like that. I had over 50 audios in the last 3 months of me pulling girls from the club, taking them to my house. We're pulling them from the streets, taking them from day game to my house. And I picked the 10 best audios where you guys are going to learn the most. And so that's in day game mastery. It's really powerful content. We've got banned videos that I had to take down from YouTube. The craziest fucking infields that you'd ever fucking see in day game mastery. The craziest tutorials of learning how to actually be this guy where, I mean, if you want to hook up to 50, 100 girls a year, you can actually go on and do that after you get access to the Day Game Mastery course. So it's really, really powerful stuff. We launch January 15th, 2022. So I don't know when this video is going to be out, Aaron, but once it's out, it's going to fucking help so many guys. That's why I made it because, with boot camps, how scalable is a boot camp? How many guys can you really coach on a boot camp before, you're really, it's diminishing returns for the students, right? Versus this course, I spent probably like 8 months putting it together, creating this incredible fucking curriculum. The content is years and years and years of hidden content that I didn't have hosted anywhere. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. We're putting it to Day Game Mastery, daygamemastery.org. And we put it together, this amazing curriculum, and it's out there. It's going to change so many fucking lives. That's what I'm really excited for.
That's amazing, man. That's so cool. Yeah, make sure you guys go check that out. This podcast will actually go up probably before that launches. This is going to be the first episode back after my been about a 2-month hiatus now off of the podcast after doing it every single week for over 2 years. We had 120 episodes, and then I needed a break. I needed to pull back a little bit, kind of get the new studio set up, all that. So, guys, make sure you go check that out. Justin, bro, thank you for doing this, man. I'm glad we've connected here. You guys can check Justin Marc out on YouTube as well and go check out the interview that I did on his show. And you're doing great. What do you drop a new episode every week or so?
Yeah, so we do 3 videos a week on YouTube. 3 videos per week on YouTube. And so, yeah, we have a pretty hectic schedule on YouTube. And we're actually going to have you, Aaron, in Day Game Mastery featured. So we are actually doing a collab with Aaron on Day Game Mastery in the interview section of the course. So if you guys get access to that, make sure to check out Aaron inside Day Game Mastery as well. And make sure to check out the collab we did on my channel as well. And the other thing is, if you guys want to actually follow me and message me on Instagram, I try to reply to everybody who messages me on my Instagram. So if you follow me and you message me if you have any questions, I'll be sure to message you back.
Awesome. And that is Drunk Justin 2, correct, on Instagram? All right, bro. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll have you on again. Peace.
Cool. Thanks, Aaron.